Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about news that had come out about the comic book Sandman being adapted into a TV show on Netflix. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this comic book I don't know much about it either. I know only the little bit I've read about it in the past, and I kind of refreshed my mind a little bit about it recently, just, for this video. And essentially it's kind of on that celestial thing. Basically we're dealing with Sandman, but he has like different names like Dream, Morpheus. Like I said, it's on that like celestial, probably kind of almost like deity type of thing I'm kind of associating to a certain extent. But with the grand scheme of what the story is exactly, I read little bits here and there, but I don't want to give away too much plot wise just because, I don't want to spoil things for you. So if you are more well versed in Sandman, that's why I'm not talking about anything that I've really learned about it, because, well, for one, because I wanted to avoid learning too much, because I want the TV show to be like, kind of go in as knowing as little as possible about it. But I'm very interested to check the show out. It's kind of interesting because it's another Neil Gaiman thing that's getting adapted. It's like, man, his stuff has been getting adapted like crazy, whether it be Good Omens or American Gods or Lucifer, which that actually brings up an interesting conversation because if you're unaware, the TV show Lucifer, that was originally on Fox that went to Netflix, that show is actually, it and Sandman actually take place in the same universe. Lucifer is a prominent character. Well, I don't know how big of a role, but I do know that he, from what I picked up online, it's like he pops up pretty frequently within the comic book, so it's kind of interesting. Actually, like the comic book that the TV show Lucifer is based on, I think is kind of a spin-off that he got from his story in Sandman, so that's interesting. That itself actually brought up an interesting question because I knew that connection ahead of time. I was like, okay, so now that that's on Netflix, what does that mean about Lucifer? Will we actually see Lucifer, in particular Tom Ellis, who plays Lucifer in the TV show Lucifer, will he actually pop up in Sandman or not? I was actually curious about that because I was reading some articles saying that, which I didn't know. I knew it was coming back for another season, but I didn't know, like, what the way the story is, I'm not too surprised, but it's coming back for a 5th and final season, at least from the stuff I was reading. But I'm curious, like I said, to see if there's going to be a tie-over. Because the thing is, like, it also depends on the productions and stuff like that, because they might want to finish up Lucifer before they even think about bringing something like that over to, like, Sandman. Because I doubt it'd be everything Lucifer related that would be in Sandman. It would probably just be Lucifer himself. Maybe, like, a minute ago, maybe some of his other siblings, but maybe some demons, but that's probably about it. Man, you might see Maze, but, like, those characters, but probably not the human characters, I would assume. Because it's interesting because the show Lucifer, if you're unaware, like, it's the more stays on Earth. Like, you get little bits of hell, see nothing of heaven, but the whole point is, like, in the comic books, especially like the Sandman thing, like, all of that's a lot of traversal around the different realms type of thing, whereas the TV show Lucifer stays purely on Earth. So I could easily see, like, it is a thing of, like, because I was reading some articles saying, like, they could easily do it, especially because both of them are, on Netflix, particularly owned by Netflix, so they can, well, at least have the licensing rights at the very least, so that it could make it possible for a crossover. Whether they would do it or not is another question, just because, like, well, for them, they might not want to connect the continuities, because if they bring Tom Ellis over as Lucifer in Sandman, then that would just be connecting those continuities, but there's enough open-endedness in Lucifer just because it's like, oh yeah, because it all takes place on Earth, they could easily translate that over to kind of fill in some of the more celestial stuff with Sandman within the, Lucifer universe, which is, it's just so interesting. I feel like, are we getting these backwards? Because, like I said, it was Sandman first and then Lucifer. Like, obviously he pops up in Sandman, but then he got his own spin-off comic book, but now it's kind of like, Lucifer is kind of the established properly TV show wise, and now we're getting Sandman. I just think it's funny how that kind of came out that way. I would love to see Tom Ellis kind of reprise his role as, like, Lucifer on in Sandman, and see what that would end up being. But I kind of get the feeling if they went down that route, they'd probably cast someone else just so they wouldn't connect the continuities. But I mean, you already literally have the character established, so might as well just bring him over. But like I said, that comes down to what they decide to do. I had read, like, a while back about the whole thing about, like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's trying to get it adapted into, like, a movie, which obviously, me, I'm more into TV shows, so I'm like, this is my preferred outlet for this adaptation. I'm also curious though if they are making connections and stuff like that. Would this potentially, the 5th season being potentially the final season for Lucifer, like where Lucifer's story ends up in Lucifer might dictate, once again, whether or not the the connection would even be possible. To be fair, there's also the whole thing of like, well, Lucifer came to Earth like at the beginning of the series, like obviously he was the king of hell for a while, so you could easily make it so it's like, oh no, like Lucifer is its own thing, and then like everything Sandman related, it's obviously before, because that's actually what happens to Lucifer in the comic books. He goes to LA, and particularly he goes to Earth just to kind of get away, you know, from everything. So it's like you could easily just make kind of Sandman's story kind of be a prequel to Lucifer in certain regards, in particular his character's story. So I think that'd be kind of neat, because you could that way probably elaborate more on, like I said, the more celestial side of things. So, but like I said, that's just where my mind is. In the comments down below, let me know your thoughts about this. Are you excited? Are you not excited? Are you someone who's read the comic book initially, and you know, does that make you excited to see this adaptation? Are you someone who hasn't read the comic book but you read a little bit about it and that's got you excited? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.